Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism. Well, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Papa Legba. Papa Legba is a subject that has been requested on my YouTube channel, and I hope to do him justice. And I also want to start by a disclaimer saying that I'm not an initiate of any particular voodoo tradition. I am interested in the subject, and everything that I'm telling you is based on interviews, on research, and some of the ceremonies I've participated in some of the outer ceremonies and New Orleans voodoo. So I am going to be talking a little bit about that particular subject. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So the first thing to remember is that Papa Legba is what's considered a loa. Now, a loa in voodoo is basically an independent spirit that is here in order to serve us, and we serve the loa. Okay, so loa is not like a departed spirit or anything like that. I guess you can think of it as closer to like an angel type of being. There is the ultimate reality, the one God. Voodoo is monotheistic. The people mistakenly think that the Loa are voodoo gods, but they're not. The ultimate God is what in their tradition is called Bandi, if I'm not saying that right. And that Bandi is the creator, and it is through Bandi and basically the Loa carry up the will, in a sense, of Bandi. Bandi is considered kind of way out there in the cosmos, out there, and not someone that we can typically access in the voodoo tradition. So that's why we have the Loa. The Loa are very close to the earth plane, and voodoo practitioners pretty much focus on that aspect. Okay, so Papa Legba. So Papa Legba, that particular name is very common in Haitian voodoo. Now, in down south where I am, where New Orleans is, he's often referred to as other names like Papa Lasba. Papa Limba, I think that's one of them too. And just like when talking about voodoo, it's an African tradition. With the African diaspora, it went to different places. And any type of religion where it kind of spreads out, it adopts the different flavors of where it lands. So in some things, it's a little bit different flavor. So if I say anything that seems a little bit different in that tradition, in that respect, then it's probably because of that particular nuance of the location. Okay, so Papa Legba, he is considered a crossroads deity, so he is very much similar to Hecate, which we talked about earlier. Hecate has the keys to the gates, and so does Papa Legba. Papa Legba is a loa that can connect with the other loa. In fact, my understanding is that when you participate in a voodoo ceremony, that he is evoked first, and when it's time for everyone to depart, he is also evoked, because the Loa cannot appear or disappear, from my understanding, without him. So he is he's kind of like the broker. So that's his special place. Now, he is represented, as far as an image is concerned, as an elderly black man with a cane, with a limp. The reason why he has a limp is because he has one foot in the spirit world and one foot in the material world. He is represented being very wise and very intelligent. He can supposedly speak any language, and he can often speak in riddles, puns, puzzles, conundrums, so that if he chooses to speak with you and he's done some work for you and he gives you one of these particular language patterns, be careful how you interpret it, because he has a very, since he's a Crossroads deity, he has a very kind of a mischievous spirit about him, kind of a playful old man type of spirit. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now, how does one... Oh, he's also very gentle. I forgot to mention that. You know, the Aloha are broken up into a few categories. There is the ones, the Rada, which is his category, which are considered a little bit more mild, a little bit easier to work with. Then there's the Petro, which are considered hotter, more fiery, more passionate, probably would be a good way to speak about it. And then there is the Gede, which kind of in the shadows, dealing with death and that type of thing. So that's kind of where he kind of fits in with everything. So he's now. I watched, I don't know if you've seen it too, the American Horror Story Coven. That particular season of American Horror Stories represented Papa Legba in an unfair way. It made him seem kind of sadistic, kind of manipulative, and that is not how Papa Legba actually it is. I know a lot of people were complaining about that particular image of Papa Legba, so you know, that is not just like Hollywood. It's not actually how it actually is. So, so he's not in that negative light. In other words, so how does one connect with Papa Legba? Well, you can give him offerings. Well, he has a veve, which is the voodoo seal. You can connect him with one of his images from the Catholic sainthood. Saint Peter is often associated with him because Saint Peter holds the gates to heaven. So some people contact him through an image of Saint Peter. Other people, again, depending on where you are as far as the voodoo tradition. Sometimes Saint Lazarus is the image. However, you can connect him through that or his veve. You can also give him offerings. His offerings include black coffee, tobacco for his pipe, rum, and those sorts of things. He even, because I mentioned he's a Crossroads deity, actually not a deity, excuse me, Loa, because he's a Crossroads type of spiritual figure, that you can actually go to a crossroads. What one can do is to go to the crossroads at midnight and bring an offering and your request, and some people may actually see him. There's a legend of coming across Papa Legba midnight at a crossroads. Some people, even musicians, blues musicians, like Robert Johnson, and there was another gentleman who supposedly learned how to play their instrument in an advanced way by going to the crossroads and having been taught by, some people say the devil, some people say Papa Legba, but either way, some people have learned skills by practicing at that time. And I believe the legend is that you're supposed to play from midnight to when the sun rises. So keep that in mind if you want to learn something quickly. And that's basically it. I don't want this video to go on too long. There is plenty to learn about Papa Legba. It probably could take several videos. Well, in any case, thank you for listening. And this is Mark Henry. And I will talk to you in a future video. Please subscribe and like. If you want to support me on Patreon or on Coffee, I'll put a link in the description below.